Bouchard. So ladies, same conditions in your previous matches. Any questions? I think towards us. It's heads. Receive? Okay, perfect. Can we just have a photo? Face the other way.
Belgium won the toss and chose to receive. Time. First set, Eugenie Bouchard representing Canada. Ready, play. Love 15. Love 13. Love 14. Game, Belgium. First game. Elise Mertens representing Belgium to serve. Fifteen love. 30 love. Forty love. Game, Belgium. Belgium lead 2 games to love. First set. Fifteen love.
Oh, good play again.
Anyway, you can't fault the play. Trying to do the right thing here, Bouchard.
Totally. Yeah, terrific play. Gee, she is really looking for that forehand at the moment. Turning what sometimes can be a negative position for her into a real positive because of the way she's approaching it.
Oh, I see the reach across the net from Mertens. Again, Bouchard being so aggressive. Harold Solomon liked that one. I like the intent.
Yeah, so do I.
It's just missed. And David Goffin. He's in action next against Vasek Pospisil.
A good setup here. Just closes the racket face a little too quickly and perhaps didn't quite take those little steps to get around her shot there. Smart serve. I like that one into the body of Mertens, not giving her the wing to hit off.
Oh, I like
That's
that too.
positive.
Bouchard on the board. Mertens, though, with a break. 2-1 opening sets. Lucky Bay. Lucky if you're able to get there. Have a look at how beautiful that water is. Some wonderful scenery all around Western Australia. You can wander yourself into the desert for days on end, or make your way along the coastline and visit places like this. Look how secluded these places are. A chance to get out and just relax and get back to nature. That's what Lucky Bay and Western Australia is all about.
How lucky we could be. Look at the blue skies. But I want to know, Pete, how would you explain that water? Is it turquoise, light blue, dark blue, crystal blue?
It's beautiful. That's what it is.
It's stunning, isn't it? And if you love the blue, then you've got to love the Australian summer as well, because there's going to be plenty of that played on the blue courts.
Oh, nice connection. I wonder where you were going there. So Elise Mertens up a break, early stages of the opening set.
Oh, good try, though. Just let that one get a little bit low. Had she contacted that a little earlier, she had opened up the court very well with that backhand side. But whether she can recorrect that number, 8 errors so far.
Yeah, so Mertens qualified 1 Hobart last year, which meant that she couldn't play in the Australian Open qualifying, missed out on the AO. So if you were in that situation where you'd come through qualifying, won a round, what would you have done? Would you have gone to Melbourne, tried to qualify, or kept going in Hobart, not knowing what your result was going to be?
Pete, when you're on a winning streak, I think you just go with it. Well, I think that's what the integrity unit is looking at this year. If you're in the qualifying of the Australian Open, you are unable to play the week before. So that opportunity has been erased for the players now.
It's a great change of direction and speed from Mertens from the back of the court.
Yeah, you've got to be careful going into Mertens' forehands with pace. When it's in that hit zone, she really can swing freely off it. Get it up high and don't give her some pace, and she struggles a little bit more on it.
And it's 3-1 Mertens opening set.
Just not finding her range yet, Bouchard, but I like what she's trying to do. I like where she's going with her shots. It's just missing narrowly. She just has to stay calm and positive, not worry about the scoreline at the moment.
Don't worry about the speed of that. It was the angle. 158 kilometres. spinning the ball out wide.
Good deep hitting from Bouchard. That's her favourite shot, Mertens, the backhand. Doesn't hit the backhand line as well as the backhand cross, which is normal. You're going against the line of the flight of the ball.
Oh, it's a hell of a return. Yeah, that was in the slot for Mertens, but beautifully controlled. Enough depth.
Yeah, absolutely. Just leant in, took time away here from Bouchard.
No questions from Mertens. Bouchard holds. Still down a break, though. 3-2 opening sets.
Well, some positive signs here for Eugenie Bouchard on this service. And, gee, she throws in a couple of aces here. Good action here. Elbow, nice height. Gets it around the 90-degree mark. Let's have a look at the back leg, the arabesque. That's decent, the back leg getting up. That's what drives the racket head and helps with the power. Can sometimes just get a little open too early on that serve, Bouchard, but gee, it looks good at the moment, and she's getting terrific power. 176 has been her fastest one so far, so that's faster than Mertens. She's got to be feeling good about how she has been able to recorrect that 2-love deficit so far in this match.
Well, didn't win a point in the opening 2 games. So Elise Mertens with a break of serve in this opening set. 3-2.
Wow, that's a great rally and that'll really mean a lot to Bouchard. She could weather the storm here. She had to really hit some good defence. Had a little everything in that rally.
And as you pointed out, Louise going into that forehand wing from Mertens. Because that's the sort of depth that Mertens can get on the backhand side. It's a safer shot. One that's less likely to be broken down the longer the rally goes.
It's good serving. Good quality in this match at the moment, Pete. Some good heavy hitting. This young lady has started off again well, off the back of some confidence built from her previous matches.
Now here's the opportunity. Although we've seen Mertens, when she has been down in games across matches, go back to the first serve, land her first serve more often than not. Oh, that was a gift. 127 kilometres an hour, straight into that backhand, trying to cramp Bouchard for room, but it did not come off.
Yeah, terrific movement here from Bouchard. Gets around it, and she can see that position that's open there.
And she gets the break back. 3-all opening sets.
Well, it's been the best start for Bouchard so far in this tournament. She lost the first set against Kerber 6-1, and she lost the first set against Gafrilova 6-1 as well. So already accumulating more confidence and points in this set. And is she serving well today? 83% first serve in. Well, that, again, 176 targeting that forehand. A little bit of sun. She went for it though, 153 on that second serve.
Just great use of the angle there from Mertens. Not having to overplay and just moving Bouchard around. If it's going to be a long match today, that could be crucial because warm conditions here in Perth again today. You gradually wear your opponent down without having to expend a lot of energy yourself. Oh, she missed it. Mertens was running across to that side. The Belgian got away with one there.
Gee, didn't she? Bouchard hit almost a perfect drop shot here. Well, could have driven a semi-trailer down there.
I was just seeing Mertens out of the corner of her eye make that run across, I think. Another break point. That'll feel good.
Terrific attitude to turn around after that, what would have been a little bit of a disappointing miss in the previous point, to come around and just play such a committed and quality point here. Great drive volley, looking to move forwards again. Love what she's doing today, Bouchard.
About grinding away at the back of the court at the moment. And just hanging in these rallies, trying to get that advantage. More often than not, going into that forehand corner of Mertens. And hold serve. And he's in front for the first time in the match. 4-3 opening set.
Well, this tells me a lot of good signs for Eugenie Bouchard. If she can play at this level, then there's no question about it. If she can just stay positive, keep that mindset in a clear way, then she can pull this kind of play out at any time, because really what she's doing is serving extremely well, high percentage of first serves, and she's committing to hit that forehand. She's really looking to dominate off that wing and be nice and aggressive, looking to come forwards. That's the sign that the side that she's really tried to penetrate through, not the ball that sits down flat and fast for Mertens, even though she's been struggling a little bit when that pace is coming on quick to the forehand as well. But great signs for Bouchard at the moment. We know she's really struggled throughout 2017, but this could just be a turning point for this young lady.
Well, you know you're doing well if the DJ's throwing on a bit of Eugenie of my D Bowie on the throughout the speaker system. New tennis balls for Elise Mertens on serve, 3-4 opening set.
A tall girl, Bouchard, is to make sure that she's always setting down with her legs and getting nice and low, keeping her balance over the shot. When that goes off, that's when the errors tend to come. Players that are a little bit more manufactured, like a Bouchard or like a Kerber, they have to be so disciplined with the way they play and the way they approach shot every time.
A couple of double faults here from Mertens, up to 3 now. And this here is a real opportunity for Eugenie Bouchard. And the error's starting to come too. What an opportunity here for Bouchard. A couple of break points. That's a terrific way to get out of trouble. temporarily anyway. 2 double faults and an ace in this game so far. That's great pressure. In the right spots on the court. 2 break points disappear. It's a terrific serve. You see how far in the court Mertens is to play that backhand.
Yeah, terrific power generated here from Bouchard. Look at the preparation, though. Wonderful shot. Semi-open stance, but just leans into that, gets plenty of body weight. That's big. 175, perfect placement. And if we remember the last serve that slid into the forehand, so keeping that variation, keeping your opponent guessing.
The frustration from Bouchard. That was a makeable return. And we've done all the hard work to grab the break points. A couple of brilliant first serves from Mertens and then the unforced error. And Mertens holds 4-all opening set. Let's have a look at where Mertens is putting in her returns and to the backhand wing of Bouchard.
Yeah, there's no
Louise.
question about that, is there? There's just nothing going into that forehand side of Bouchard, and the number one reason for that is because she does not want that forehand coming back cross into her own forehand wing. And that's exactly why. That's the reason why she's penetrating into the backhand side, because Bouchard's best option is to go back cross-court onto Mertens' strength. Just dictates this rally perfectly, Mertens. That's the shot she wants back. Open court.
Oh, no. She's going to challenge this one, but again, desperate to get in that backhand side. Let's see whether this clipped the line. Yep. Just snuck that in. Living dangerously, though, in that ad court. Doing well to open it up, and maybe a little bit of variation if that line's open to go that way. Is the trickiest shot. And again, the positive play from Bouchard. I love the movement forward, taking the game on something a little bit different from Mertens, who's sort of working in a familiar pattern. This is a good way to break it up.
Yeah. She's being rewarded when she moves forwards. She's been there 5 times and won 4 of those 5 points, Bouchard.
That's also good. And a running out of options there in the end. Bouchard, couple of break points now for Mertens.
Yeah, quick to make her mind up on this shot here, Mertens. She could have delayed a little bit with this movement forwards, but she doesn't.
Great touch. I want to look at ways that Bouchard's going to rise back up the rankings.
Yeah.
This sort of play.
There's no question about it.
Certainly got to be in the racket bag. And she does get the break, though. Mertens will serve for the opening set next at 5-4. No, we've had a good time so far in Perth. If you're looking to get out to the Golden West, make sure you head out to the Botanical Gardens and through Kings Park. A beautiful vista over the CBD of Perth. There's the War Memorial. There's plenty of walking trails through there. You can even spend some time having a picnic. The beautiful flora there. And so close to Perth CBD. That's the view that you get overlooking the CBD, the beautiful Kings Park facility.
And of course, Pete, there is the King Street inside the business district in Perth, and it's a beautiful European feel to that street. With its early 20th century low-rise architecture. But we had a very nice opportunity to walk through the streets yesterday of Perth.
The street art is great. I tell you what, things are transforming out here.
I know.
Vibrancy, life.
Yeah,
lots of little bars, lots of little creative places happening.
It's a happening place.
It is over here in Perth. If you haven't been for a while, get over here. Mertens serving for the opening set. Yeah, just left the gap open there. Mertens was aware of the ball coming back. It's a nice touch here from Elise Mertens, and you're okay from Bouchard, but it's just Mertens was waiting there on that particular side of the court.
Yeah, she does have good feel, Mertens.
Going to take full advantage of that. The neck cord going her way. 3 set points here for Mertens.
Yeah, just being really clean with her hitting. Very accurate. And again, looking to move forwards. Be the aggressor.
That's a great serve and a great way to finish off the opening set. Mertens, 6-4.
Well, it was a good match, a good set, I should say, for both players, particularly Bouchard. She'll be able to really take something out of that first set at 4-all. There was chances there for her, but Mertens is the one that's got a little bit more confidence behind her with the win against the Australians. 58% first serve percentage. She'll want to look to get that up a little bit higher. It's just a few unforced errors there from Eugenie Bouchard, and on the other side Mertens just was a little bit more positive with her movement in the last couple of games there, just getting some good depth and dictating, using this forehand a little bit more assertively in the last couple of games. It was letting her down early on in this set, but she's really found her way to move forwards and just focused in and really started to play some good tennis up inside the court and converted 7 of 8 occasions that she came to the net, Pete. So some quality tennis from this young lady.
Absolutely. Although Eugenie Bouchard did well to get back into the set, didn't win a point in the opening 2 games, and I thought this was going to slide away quickly, but I like the way that she's gone about it today. High first serve percentage, needs to obviously win a few more points, as we saw with the stats, but the sign's looking okay.
Yeah, the 52% conversion rate when the first serve goes in. That was much higher earlier on in the set, but that just shows the returning skills of Mertens.
So Eugenie Bouchard to get us back underway.
Yeah, look how low she stays there, just redirects this serve.
So Mertens can take plenty of confidence out of the way she finished off that first set. Important here for Bouchard just to maintain her level.
He needs to land a few more first serves, Bouchard. Just a very subtle adjustment as well, Mertens, because it was Bouchard that was really getting the heavier ball in and really committing to try to move forwards and dictate. And ever so slightly, Mertens just stepped up her mentality, got a little bit more aggressive herself.
And breaks through in the opening game of the second set.
Yeah, just a little mental shift there at the end of that first set from Mertens, and ever so slightly just locked in her ground strokes, got a little bit more consistent, put some extra pressure back on Bouchard and just changed the complexion of that first set. And just look at her body language and the way she comes out, ever so professional with her attitude, this young lady.
Mertens trains at the Kim Kleister's Academy. Have you had the chance to get over there and have a look at the facility?
Yeah, fabulous. It is yeah, outstanding. Very high tech. Got mostly clay courts. They've got some good indoor courts, of course. Belgium gets very cold.
It's a great return. Not giving Mertens much time to react. I mean, Kim Clijsters takes a really close interest in all of the Belgian players and how they're progressing around the world. So after dropping serve, chance to get the break back here for Bouchard. Is that a bit of cloud cover, Louise?
I can't see
Seems
it.
like a foreign
couldn't see
objects
that.
in the sky. I didn't know it got cloudy in Perth.
No, it's probably a balloon or something.
So Bouchard does get the break back. 1-1 second set.
Yeah, he talked about Belgium and what a great job they've done with tennis to have two top female players both be number one in the same era. And you could imagine the legacy that it is leaving on the youngsters in their country, just 11 million people, and to be able to produce such great tennis players.
Well played, Ginny Bouchard. Great setup. Taking the initiative to get forwards. Mertens doing nicely defensively to put up the lob, but Bouchard, give her all the credit for this point. Well constructed.
Yeah, this kind of rally as well when a player finishes on top, like Bouchard here after 17 shots. It feels good to just relax and know you've got that one under the belt. It's going to build confidence. A huge difference when Bouchard gets this first serve in, 177, and hits so close to the lines. It's a massive difference in results.
Nicely done from Bouchard. Getting the break back and then holding serve. It's 2-1 second set.
Just needing a little shade there for Bouchard. Talk about the size of countries. Belgium, as opposed to Australia in size and difference, 30,000 square kilometres for Belgium, over 7 million square kilometres for Australia, 184 tennis courts in Belgium. So it's nice, densely populated, and great location in terms of juniors, and just being north of France and just near Belgium, near Germany, near Netherlands, I should say. Just great for the youngsters to be able to get across the borders and to play. We're a little bit more isolated in Australia. Certainly we are in Perth. So to see the players such as Casey Delacroix, Maddie Inglis, Astra Sharma, some great players coming out of Perth. So WA doing a fabulous job in terms of giving opportunities to young tennis players. Great to see.
Working with Alison Hughes there, the chair umpire, Elise Mertens, as she walked out, just had a word, maybe looking for some more towels or something of that nature as she prepares to serve at 1-2.
She really swatted that forehand, didn't she? Inside out, generates a lot of pace. Came across the ball on that occasion. Didn't have a lot of extension on it.
Now, no call from anywhere. Bouchard frustrated. So the ball was indeed called out. Mertens was playing it anyway. And I think she thought it was out too. And there's the results. Again, trying to do the right thing, trying to be aggressive. You have that aggressive game. The unforced errors tend to creep in.
Yep.
To 15 now. Solid serving from Mertens. 2-2 second set.
I think Bouchard just has to be very disciplined when Mertens serving big like this, just to really have a huge target. Go through the middle of the court, don't go for lines. This one too tough. But when she does get the opportunities on the second serves, then she can open up the court. She can go line a little bit more, get more control off the shot. Mertens' time just lifts that service percentage up.
Generally, if it's called from the chair, it's going to be correct, particularly on that side of the court.
Just coming back very quickly onto the toes of Bouchard. These returns are deep and very good quality. Just needs to anchor down, stay a little lower, try to neutralise that first ball there, Bouchard. Well, too good.
So many options there.
Yeah.
Inside that service line. So good overhead initially, great angle, then gets a shorter ball. Could have gone across here. Didn't have to. Straight behind Bouchard.
Yeah, great athleticism there from Mertens.
And more break points. Got it. Excellent up the line from Mertens. Gets the break. 3-2 second sets. Well, we're wondering what Elise Mertens was saying to the chair umpire as they walked out from the previous sit down. Looks like the trainers out here might be a slight eye issue.
Perhaps just maybe an eyelash or something, just something irritating it a little bit. I haven't noticed her really rubbing it or being too concerned by that.
And just another, while we're waiting for this to happen, there's Carlos Ramos, the tournament referee, just waiting in the wings. Did you wear sunglasses when you played?
I did for a lot of the finish of my career because I've got very blue eyes and very susceptible to light and sunshine, and some players just really cannot cope with the sun. Yeah. I hated serving into the sun.
It is interesting because there are, I would say, a majority, it's a generalisation of course, that majority don't.
Yeah.
And when you consider how bright it is there, the bright courts, obviously the sunny day as per usual in Perth, why more players don't choose to play with sunglasses?
I think sometimes the rims can, if you've never worn them, it feels like it occludes your vision a little bit. That would be the main thing I would say, and it's just a comfortability thing. It's when you're sweating and, you know, sometimes you just don't want to have something on your face, but a lot of players will go to hats, particularly down in Australia where the sun tends to be a little bit more fierce. Go to Europe where there are those things up there that we don't have, those clouds. Yeah.
Particularly in the UK. Goodness me. All the time.
Don't even know how to spell clouds in Australia.
Oh, almost again from Bouchard, but great control from Mertens. At the moment, this match is in control of Elise Mertens. It just seems defensively here getting everything back. Again, just smart play, coming forward, putting that pressure on.
Yeah, knows what to do when she's coming forwards. Great anticipation as well.
Well, a couple of double faults in a row here. Just those eye drops affecting her. She did have the doctor and the trainer come out just to give her some eye drops. And another one. Wow.
It just comes out of nowhere.
Here is the opportunity for Bouchard. Harold Solomon there, the coach of Eugenie Bouchard. And again, finding the line, Mertens. Getting out of trouble. And that's the confidence that she has. That one there.
Gee,
just hitting
close.
the side of that line and knowing she was going to get a short ball coming forward. Not overplaying. Oh, that'd be frustrating for Bouchard.
Mm-hmm.
Good attack. That coming off the back of the baseline. Another chance to break.
Well, I hope Bouchard takes a little bit of something from that rally too. She uses her hands really well off the return, but pushes it up high and heavy. And look what she gets back when there's no pace on the ball from Mertens. An inside shot. This is where she likes to play, inside the court, and to be able to finish the point there.
It's in. Break back again for Bouchard. 3-all second sets.
Well, she looks so much more confident and she can do so much more damage when she's inside the court. Let's have a look at the amount of opportunities. Bouchard is really trying to press forwards inside that baseline. 46% is a great number. You can see Mertens needs a little bit more time on the ball. She spends more time back behind the baseline. But Bouchard is doing some good damage by being nice and aggressive today. That's where she wants to be, inside the court, taking time away. She can hit that high ball very effectively. Her opponent, not so.
Well, the other thing too about Bouchard and where she's setting up for her rally shots is that she's built her game on that, to be as aggressive as possible, to use the pace of her opponent as well, direct the ball. She's built her game on that, her career.
Great wide base on that backhand from Bouchard as well. And when she's relaxed and feeling confident, her movement just excels. It really is so much better. Covers the court well today. It's amazing, isn't it, when you squirm your way out of a game and just fight and wriggle, and all of a sudden things can turn around so quickly. 40 love here for Bouchard.
There's never a right time to throw that in, but sometimes are better than others.
Yeah.
And again, worried about what Mertens is going to do, particularly on that backhand side of the return. The thing is, though, knows exactly where that ball's going to go. More often than not, Mertens going into the backhand of Bouchard. Still another chance to finish the game off. And gets through. Bouchard holds serve, 4-3, second sets. Now, Eugenie Bouchard just having a chat to the umpire. Maybe asking for the trainer. Yep. Working overtime with both players here.
Oh, lucky Anita was just nearby. Can get a quick message across and out to the court. But we didn't really see any signs of anything going on here, did we? Played a terrific last game. Bouchard came quickly off and went straight to the umpire.
If anything, things are looking good. Managed to turn it around, doing it nicely.
Maybe just feeling it a little bit in the glute. She's really gone out wide on a couple of occasions on that backhand, really loading on that outside leg. I wonder if she's just put a little extra pressure.
Oh, we talk about the 3 guaranteed matches here at the Hopman Cup, but the first major of the year, the Australian Open, isn't too far away, so it's always a precaution first approach here.
Well, we can also note there's been some really long rallies, like 3 17-shot rallies, which is quite a lot for these players after just coming from pre-season. That extra loading, movement on the court, there's nothing quite the same as what you can do in practice, is the pressure and the loading on the body in a match where you just ask those extra questions physically of yourself.
So treatment here for Eugenie Bouchard. I just wonder whether this actually could have been done just backstage, just looking at the seeing that she's in the full sun. It might be, if it does go to a longer 5 minutes injury timeouts, that...
Yeah, there'd be a fair amount of heat radiating from the court. Also, some of the positions that the trainer has to put the athlete in. Sometimes it's nicer just to pop off the court for that one.
Well, the good part here about the Perth Arena is that everything's so close, so it's not a long walk to the locker room.
Yeah.
Or to the treatment rooms, actually. They're just behind where the players walk out. It's not far at all.
This would be a shame, really, for Eugenie. You know, he's just playing some great tennis, just got the momentum back as well, and then to have this.
So in the meantime, while we wait to see what's happening with Eugenie Bouchard, Cape Leeuwin is where we're going to next here in WA. Bring the family down too. This is a great opportunity, not only to just run along the beach and have a great time there. Obviously, some natural beauty. You've got the lighthouse there. Maybe spot of fishing as well. You can charter the boat, see some of the natural sea creatures in their habitats, and have a beach to yourself, Louise.
A whole beach, just the contrast of colours there, Pete. Absolutely stunning. Of course, Cape Lewin down south. I think it's named after one of the ships that arrived here, one of the Discovery ships.
As Eugenie Bouchard is leaving the court. So what happened there was the trainer and doctor came out to do an assessment. So they need to assess what the injury is before they can start treating it. And so once Eugenie Bouchard leaves the court, the tournament referee, Carlos Ramos, is following behind, who will keep the chair umpire informed on how things are going. But the clock should start. There should be an announcement in just a moment that the treatment will get underway and the 5 minutes will start. So a bit of a wait here for Elise Mertens, but a chance to regroup. Alison Hughes there with the walkie-talkie to just keep up to date with what's going on. And so the starts won't be too far away, and it's good umpiring too. I mean, we have very experienced officials here at the Hopman Cup, the ITF's best, and that's great communication to Elise Mertens, who's sitting there going, well, this could go on quite some time. I hope it doesn't, but we'll keep Elise Mertens informed as to what's going on. But it is a shame, Louise, as you say. I mean, it's been an interesting match, this one, and you made the point that particularly in that first set, Bouchard looking better and has grown as this week's gone along. So it would be a shame if she had to stop here. We hope she doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. She's really looks like she's a lot more comfortable and clear with what she's doing out here. I think for me, the forehand has been really confident. She's been going out after the ball. She's been looking to come forwards, and I think she's also served really well today. Only 69% overall, 60% in this set, but she's been accurate and she's really gone after it. This young lady here, Elise Mertens, been impressive all week, particularly against Dasha Gavrilova. Lost that first set and then just improved throughout. She was competitive also with Kerber. Love the way she moves. That's probably her best asset, and just fiercely competitive. I like the fact that she's always thinking on the court. To me, she's setting up the shots in terms of what do I want to get back, and we've seen her really drill that backhand side of Bouchard.
Okay, so start the clock, 5 minutes here.
Oh, how cute. Wonder Woman or Wonder Woman, but hopefully she's going to be a tennis player in the future. Pete, you can imagine her attitude. Very tough, I would imagine.
Good to see. So Elise Mertens here will get some of the older tennis balls to serve with. She can't use the match balls. She'll have a few serves just to keep herself going.
Yeah, smart. And you see some of the breaks that some of the women take on the tour, and you question it when it's at the end of a set and perhaps when they've lost a set. But this is not at all the case with Eugenie. She won that last game 4-3. It's an inopportune time for her to feel tightness in that quad or the hip, but this is where we are.
Well, I reckon you feel better if you see footage like this. This is the Perth CBD, and I mean, that's about peak hour, I think. I've been told peak hour here only runs for about
3 minutes.
3 to 4 minutes. But beautiful there. I mean, and there's so much to explore now through the laneways.
Yeah.
There are all these new bars opening up all over the place.
It's kind of got that hipster feel,
it has,
doesn't it?
Street art. You've got your sort of upmarket sort of shopping establishments that you like going to.
But can't afford. But, yeah, I like going there.
Yep.
King Street.
Looking past.
Yeah. King Street, a beautiful... It's the fashion district where all the high-end fashion stores are, but it's got the old 20th century facades. Quite a stunning walking area. As we see Father Christmas here. Wow.
Ah, so we know where Santa is spending his holiday time.
Down under. Gee, wonder if he ever takes that jacket off, though, when he comes down to Australia, Pete.
Just getting ready for next year, just having a bit of time off first.
Yeah.
But
probably has some nice red Speedos as well under. That may be where he goes with that.
I'll leave that discussion to you. But I mean, one of the other things too is Perth CBD has been divided. There's the CBD and then there's the Northbridge area.
Yep.
But now that's being connected. A new square's being built. There's so much great development. As I say, if you haven't been to Perth for a while, well worth coming back and having a look. The Elizabeth Quay, down the other side of the CBD from where the Perth Arena is. That's a fantastic development out there, and plenty of walking trails, cycling tracks, all sorts of different things that you can do out here in the Golden West.
You can even wear a hat like that and no one flicks an eyelid, do they?
Nope. So good to see Eugenie Bouchard back to the medical timeouts.
Well, let's hope she can pick up from where she left off, because she really has the momentum at the moment in this second set. Playing some terrific tennis in this match, Eugenie Bouchard.
So we resume 10 minutes later. Mertens serving 3-4 second set. That's just too good. That's just solid hitting, so clean, precise.
Oh, she must have been sitting there in the 10 minutes just visualising this backhand cross-court. She just hit about 5 fantastic ones. Good depth there from Bouchard. Again, that's the side that is a little bit shaky of Mertens. Depth. Great preparation on this return here.
Wonderful rally from both players.
Well, that number is really racketing up for Mertens. 12 at the net, winning 13 occasions. So that's a positive conversion, but terrific defensive skills from Bouchard. Just allowing Mertens that final shot.
Well, it's dropped in, or has it? We'll send it upstairs. Has it caught the edge? No. Mertens very quick to point that out to the umpire. And it's just an accumulation of pressure from Mertens. 4-all second set.
That was a good rebound from Mertens to come out after that little break and just be so active.
So crunch time now for Bouchard. Played to a pretty good level throughout the match. High percentage of first serves into play.
Oh, again. That's going to just miss. Doing the right thing, though, Bouchard. Eventually, she will be rewarded for this style of play that she's really committing to today. Oh, so narrow.
So now it's about the response. So I've done everything right except that last shot. Can't get too down. And tricky end down there to serve, but even still, crucial stage of the match. And again, another unforced error. Oh, crucial now. Mertens with 2 break points. And finally gets some reward in this game.
Just brought her target back in. Wasn't getting rewarded from trying to tag those lines.
Oh, someone's just moving behind Eugenie Bouchard in the grandstand. And missed that too. So Elise Mertens will serve for the match next at 5-4 second set.
It's the right play from Bouchard, just a little impatient there on that backhand down the line. Had she just given herself a bigger target? As the trainer continues to speak to Bouchard. She had that treatment on her left quad or glute, not sure exactly what it was.
So we'll now have to get all this done within the 90 seconds of the sit down. Can't have the more treatment on the same injury. Can't have another 5 minutes for that. We'll see whether she's able to fight her way back into this, but Elise Mertens in a very good position. Elise Mertens now serving for the match at 5-4.
15 love.
Oh, it's good play from Mertens. You see that her opponent is injured.
30 love.
Struggle the more she has to move side to side, just controlling the point beautifully.
Yeah, the forehand shot before was the one that did the damage, really forcing Bouchard out wide and again stretching her to the backhand. Testing her physically here.
And racing to match
40
points. Elise Mertens. One hour and 24 minutes on court. And she does get the win.
So much better. 2 sets love.
Great way to finish off
6-4.
her Hopman Cup singles campaign. Elise Mertens didn't have it all her own way, but gets through in straight sets. 6-4, 6-4.
What a great match for this young lady from Belgium. 2 wins, 1 loss to a previous #1 in the world is not a bad account for yourself to start the year off. But for Eugenie Bouchard, I think she will gain a lot from this match. Played a really competitive match, had opportunities in both sets. And she should be pretty proud of herself to turn things around here. She's got a good year ahead of her. A little disappointed there, of course, getting that injury to the left part of her hip.
But a good springboard to build on with 3 matches here, despite not getting a win. But Elise Mertens can be pretty happy with the way she's playing at the moment. She's there with Mark Gibson.
Elise, congratulations. Your Hopman Cup may or may not be coming towards its end, but you've won 2 out of your 3 singles. Jeannie a little bit hampered by an injury there today, but how were you pleased with your performance?
I mean, it was a tough battle. We both fight to the end. Yeah, it was a good performance. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I already did.
And your form heading into the rest of the Australian summer, you're playing Hobart next week where you won last year. This tournament must have given you some confidence?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good preparation, some really good matches. I mean, I played 3 matches, I gave everything. I mean, it's a really great preparation to Hobart.
Elise, you trained at the Kim Clijsters Academy back home in Belgium. What sort of an influence has Kim, the legendary Belgian player, been to you?
I mean, if I still practice with Kim, I'm like, whew. No, she's amazing. I mean, she gives me some confidence. She messages me like, great job. Or if I practice with her, she says something that I can still improve. So I'm really glad that I have her on my team a little bit.
Now, Elise, you know that Belgium can still make the final. If Australia does the right thing tonight, you'll be cheering for David in the next match?
Go Aussie, I hope they win. And David, I mean, he's a great player. He already won 2 matches, so hopefully he will win the 3rd one.
You guys are doing well. She's the new Aussie as well. How's that? Well done, Elise Mertens. A victory. Belgium 1-0 up.
Yeah, it was impressive. Really good player, Elise Mertens. And now the work really begins, Louise. There's a lot of people looking for a lot of autographs and selfies, so she might be there a while.
Not only is she a great tennis player, you can see she's got a lovely character and lovely nature about the way she handles things. Elise Mertens, I think 2018 should be very kind to her on the WTA Tour. She really has improved dramatically. One of the players to watch if she keeps shooting up the rankings that she has in the last 12 months. You'd have to say she's going to get very close to the top 20. She's currently 36 in the world. But the way she's played this week, I think we can have good expectations. Let's have a look at the numbers today. Service percentage probably wasn't as high as she would have liked it. It crept up a little higher, but the 17 winners and the very tidy number of 19 for unforced errors, that's where it unravelled a little bit for Bouchard. Many of those errors as well, well, millimetres, weren't they? She went very close to the line. And well, a good overall performance this week for Mertens, and Eugenie Bouchard will take a lot, particularly from this match today.
On to Hobart and then to the Australian Open. Exciting times for Elise Mertens. They are technically still a chance to make the final. They'll need David Goffin to get the job done next. They need a 3-0 win. Let's see whether that can happen. Up next, David Goffin, Vasek Pospisil. That's not too far away here at Perth Arena.
Well, welcome back to the Perth Arena, back in the corridor. Paul Kildare just walking away. How happy he should be and proud of the tournament so far. And of course, Switzerland through to the final just adds to the success of it. Vasek Pospisil there, David Goffin coming onto court, no doubt second in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our second match this morning in the Belgium versus Canada tie. First up, with a booming serve, representing Canada, Vasek Pospisil. His opponent, the extremely dangerous and world #7, representing Belgium, David Goffin.
Quickly becoming a very familiar face on the biggest stadiums around the world. David Goffin, his rise into the world's top 10 has been a joy to watch. And is somebody unquestionably that if you are a traditionalist and a connoisseur of this sport, you will enjoy watching every time he plays. He does not have the raw power or the huge physicality of some players, but he is an absolute joy to watch. Intelligent, articulate, and the favourite today. 27 degrees, it's just dropped a little bit the mercury here in Perth, but still absolutely sunny. They call that in these parts partly sunny. That is a partly cloudy day in Perth. So in fact we do actually see our first half a cloud above the Perth Arena, but still absolutely wonderful times. Hasn't been so wonderful for this man, Vasek Pospisil, on the court. It will be wonderful in the commentary box because I've got John Fitzgerald with me. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Mark. You're too kind. It's another perfect day in paradise here, and another young hotshots youngster to toss the coin.
So guys, we play with the same conditions as all week. Is there any questions from your side? Do you have a question, Ethan? Yes, you do, for one of them. Heads. David, Steve. Can you stay for a picture, guys, please? Pose here.
So David Goffin there winning the toss, electing to receive, and Vasek Pospisil choosing the northern end, which is looking away from the sun to serve in the first game.
Now this man is exceptional on the doubles court, and he has been very good on the singles court as well. Vasek Pospisil, career high of 25 in the world. He's searching, and at the moment it's been a little unsuccessfully for that type of tennis on the singles court, but he's hooked up recently with René Schuttler. Schuttler, of course, known for his endurance out there on the court and his ability to make balls, which is something that we've seen over the course this week, John, that perhaps Vasek needs to do a little bit more of.
I think so. He's naturally a flatter style of player, though, isn't he? Doesn't hit with the topspin that a lot of these modern players do. A bit more traditional, I think. A bit of a throwback in some ways. And of course, Goffin, just the sweet timer of the tennis ball.
Fast becoming one of my favourite players out there on the tour. He really has, although not grown in height, he has grown in stature and in terms of respect as well. Burst onto that scene in that lovely run at the French Open back in 2012, played his idol Federer there in the 4th round, and well, had a little bit of a rocky road after that, to be honest, until he hooked up with his current coach, Thierry van Klemper, who has done a wonderful job, remodeled his serve to some degree. It's taken a little bit of time, but as you can see, currently ranked 7 in the world. He is a prodigious talent and striker of the ball.
I find him very much an artiste out there, Goffin. He knows when to move forward, when to retreat. He understands margins for error, risk for reward, all the concepts that you learn as a young person, and some find it easier than others, and it's embedded into their subconscious a lot earlier than others, and he's one of those very smart tennis players, Goffin.
Three minutes.
Well, Goffin really hasn't had much of an off-season, has he? Given his exploits, getting through to the final of the World Tour Finals, of course, stunning in the Davis Cup, although ultimately Belgium unsuccessful against France. But his record in that competition, what now? 21 match wins, 3 losses. I mean, maximum pressure, and he has delivered time and time again. He loves playing for his country, he loves playing for himself as well. When you're 7 in the world, it's not just about producing it for your country as well. He's doing it in all forms of the game, and with potentially some of the big names either slightly undercooked coming into the Australian Open or absent, he has a real shot of going deep there as well in Melbourne, you feel?
Well, I think so. I think he does. You know, that Davis Cup record speaks for itself. That sort of underlines how well he can handle the big occasion, because that's not easy to win under Davis Cup pressure as much as he has. 23 wins, 3 losses. That's well, 21 and 3, isn't it? 21 and 3. That's impressive. And then, of course, to beat Nadal and Federer back-to-back at the World Tour Finals is nothing to sneer at either. He's the real deal, Goffin. He's favoured on paper here to beat Pospisil, although this man has a big game. But Goffin really is one to watch, I think, throughout the rest of this summer and ongoing in this calendar year.
Really get the sense from Pospisil's side of the court as well that he feels tantalisingly close to playing great tennis, but he just hasn't got there. A lot of anger at times at himself, not towards anybody else, at not being able to hit the heights that he has done on the singles court. Against Zverev in particular, some of the errors, they really sort of ate him up. He comes in here with some high hopes, but it's hard to see how his strengths are going to be better than Goffin's strengths out here. As Fitzy's just saying, he has a big Goffin, just so adept at manipulating a tennis ball around the court, using the angles, changing the pace, the flight and everything else, that this man is going to have to hit his spots exceptionally well, not just with his first serve, but with everything else as well. Certainly been searching for the answers, no question about it. Talked a lot about staying and working hard on his fitness. In fact, Pospisil looks as though he's slimmed down a little bit, particularly in his leg. Almost looked a little too powerful before in his legs, so he looks as though he's getting himself in the ideal
the singles match will be the best
conditioning to play his best tennis, but it's finding that elusive
Belgium
confidence.
And chose to receive. Time.
Well, Goffin has just almost fresh-aired that altogether, the sun in his eyes, and he's mistimed that fairly badly. Of course, Goffin was humble enough back in 2014 after his first round loss against Andy Murray to drop down and play on the Challenger Tour, and went on a remarkable run. What was it, 32 or 34 match wins, something like that, to regain the confidence. Said he felt, even at that stage against Murray, it was a nightmare draw, that he was hitting the ball all right, but just was doubting himself and not just getting onto the ball and attacking and doing the things that you need to do instinctively. But he hasn't looked back really since that particular period. It was a low ebb, but he saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and well, the rest, as they say, is history. It's been his most successful season so far, and there is more to come from the also 27-year-old Belgian. So Mertens with the win over Bouchard means that this is a must-win match for Vasek Pospisil to keep Canadian hopes alive. Goffin mishit this half volley a little bit, off the frame a little bit. There you can see. And the spin is awkward. It moves a bit like an... Well, certainly turned on a dime when it landed. The spin was awkward. Pospisil misreading it.
50 more.
Beautiful motion.
Well,
this is the way he wants to play. He's predominantly a serve and forehand player. Got away with one there, though. That first serve indeed was long. No one picked it up.
40-50. Game Canada.
Good start for Pospisil. 1-0 Canada.
First game.
Probably not a lot riding on this match for Vasek Pospisil, is there really, except a bit of confidence and, you know, practicing under conditions that he's going to have to face for the rest of the summer. And it's always an opportunity, especially against a highly ranked player. I'm with you, Mark. I've turned into a big fan of this young man, or by tennis standards, a middle-aged man these days, 27. He really gets your attention when he plays. If you're a tennis purist, you tend to enjoy watching this man. Ridiculous. You see, but that's the blend on his backhand as well. I mean, that ball he hit cross-court, he hit so slowly, it bought him so much time to get back in the court, but Vasek couldn't really attack it. And then he guides this one up the line. Decent start on return from Pospisil, certainly not
50.
The strength in his game. Fortunately for him, a little too many get unreturned and too many free, easy service holds for his opponents. But he started impressively here. Just magnificent. It's understated brilliance, and you really have to watch what he's doing out there to understand just how good it is. Look at the height over the net to give it the depth. He just took it out of play, didn't have to worry about the net, doesn't have to focus on it. Yeah, I think the net is the enemy, isn't it? And your first objective is to avoid it. So if you can take that out of contention, and then you've just got to worry about the width and depth of your ball. Good tennis from Pospisil. It's a good start. Tidy.
14-30.
Better slice here as well. Too often seems to feel as though he doesn't really accelerate the racket through on his slice. It's a guiding shot. To end the game, 1-0 opening set.
Yeah, this man's backhand is just poetry in motion. You know, he can handle, he can absorb pace, he can take the ball early. This shot actually hurts Pospisil because he hit it quickly, as you talked about. It went straight into the strength of Goffin. He took a step forward, and from then on, he dominated the point. He took the ball early and put Pospisil on the run. So it's not all about hitting the ball hard. It's finding the direction, the height, giving yourself enough time to recover for the next ball. Something hard and flat into a shot like Goffin possesses on the backhand wing is not always the answer.
Love 50.
It's going to be the challenge for Pospisil today. Is just how many balls Goffin will return and how many second shot after the serve he's going to be able to capitalise on a shorter ball. First
50.
Oh, sweet. In fact, I'd go as far as to say sweet lips on that one. Gee, how good is this? As soon as he sees his opponent deep, he takes a step forward, takes the ball early, doesn't have to overplay the ball when he does that, and then he's into the net with a flash, and then has the presence of mind to do that. That was pure. Bit of work on that ball when it hit the court surface.
Old aggressive and a little desperate already. Goffin, quick break, 2-1 up. It's been a busy week for the players here. They've had a little bit of time to relax. We've seen a number of different activities that they've got up to, but it is a wonderful city just to either walk, bike or run round here, the city of Perth. Beaches very close by. Managed to get down to Cottesloe recently, just about 30 minutes away, and you never know what you might see out there in the ocean, but truly one of the most beautiful, and it certainly is the sunniest city in Australia. Not a sunny beginning for Vasek Pospisil. How quickly things turned around. It was a good couple of competitive opening games, but already Goffin showing his class and maybe more importantly his confidence. The old sledgehammer approach doesn't necessarily work with a master craftsman out there.
Let's exercise.
Well, I was about to pay a big compliment again to Goffin. He just didn't do enough with the volley there, but the way he sneaks into the net when his opponent is least expecting is just a beautiful thing. He was there, he just got a bit casual on that particular volley, I think, put himself in trouble.
Is an absolute gem off the strings of Pospisil, and it elicited a bravo from Goffin, understandably so.
Yeah, certainly was what he intended, wasn't it? You've got to be good enough to hit this heavy spin here, but Pospisil absolutely tried to play this shot. You could see by the follow-through on his forehand. Oh, wonderful. Two of the best shots we've seen from Pospisil all week here.
Lovely.
He's turned it on in this game, has Vasek. Sneaks in again, Goffin. Became a pretty difficult volley. Couldn't quite do enough with it, and that's, well, super.
15-14.
Changed his coach to Thierry Van Klempert in 2014 as well. That also heralded that return to confidence for Goffin. The big thing that they worked on was his serve, getting more legs into it, more drive up and through it. Pleasure of watching him practice the other day from the side of the court. It's amazing actually how far he throws that ball into the court to drive it forward.
Canada is challenging the ball on the left.
He also was doing that on the practice court as well. That's not just luck that he delivers on the match court. I mean, he just meandered his way back, didn't he? And then just with a flick of his wand. Oh, he's missed it.
Game Canada.
I don't think he can believe it. He thought he hit that in, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, credit Pospisil there. That's a couple of wonderful strikes, as Fitzy was saying in that game, to give himself the opportunity. feel like he hits that slice serve too hard.
Yeah, he could take a leaf out of Roger Federer's book, couldn't he, on that wide slider, who just, like a genius, takes the speed off the ball to create more angle, slides it wide. This serve is as good as it is, not quite as subtle as Federer's, and I think that'd be advantageous. Take a bit off it, get the ball wider on that first court. Well, one of the best shots in the men's game. The David Goffin backhand down the line. The two-hander he hits with incredible accuracy from this wing. Keeps it simple. Look how deep he is to be able to hit that shot. Not much of a backswing, but gives it the full face of the racket, and he knows where his racket face is. Absolutely. There it is again. It's a big one wide, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mark.
I was just looking at Fed's average speed out wide at the World Tour Finals. He was at 110. miles an hour. Pospisil up at about 115. So, I mean, that's an extra 5 miles an hour that you're hitting it with. You're just losing that control. You're not just being able to locate the ball as well. And, well, I mean, to be fair, he's got good service motions, but it's not quite as fluid as Rogers as well. So he clearly has to force it a little bit more to get that pace. And the other thing is, if you don't locate it well enough, this guy uses pace right back at you, just returning that one with everything that Pospisil gave him. Pospisil's not even going to challenge it. Excellence delivered from Goffin strings. 3-2. That's been a pretty energetic, exhilarating opening 5 games between these two. Pospisil, although trailing once again, will be pretty happy with how he's actually come out here and hit the ball. It's one of the disappointing things as a lower-ranked player at times is the understanding that your best arguably isn't as good as your opponent's best. And I know that feeling, unfortunately, far, far too well.
Well, you're not on your Pat Malone there. Know that feeling well too, Pitch.
Yeah. Not even 100,000 hours would make a difference.
It used to hurt, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. It hurt a lot. Not just that.
Give it your best shot.
The pride, the ego,
give it your best shot. Think you're pretty decent at what you do, and then the other guy you just know is better. That hurts.
You could play 100 sets, and you would be 100-0.
So the two-handed backhand up the line from Goffin came to the fore there, didn't it? thought Pospisil's half volley was fairly talented there. But he forgot about the speed and the anticipation of his opponent.
50 love.
Pretty good angle. Goffin's, he moves. Look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
How smooth is that movement? And then a bit like the great man last night, Roger Federer, has great, unbelievable control at full stretch.
Well, he played a couple of team events when he was younger, did Goffin. He tried out football, of course, like so many, and handball as well, of course, very popular sport in Europe, but said his shyness wasn't really something that was helping to get him into the team and feel a part of it.
He could be his own man on a tennis court.
And his personality, regardless of what it is shining through here. He's got plenty of it with a racket in his hand.
He's a man of few words, but I think when he speaks, we're all going to be listening.
Game better.
It's definitely out. I thought the only question mark was whether actually Goffin snagged it off the end of his racket.
Yeah, I think the noise we heard was his racket hitting the surface of the court. The ball, I think, was a reasonable way out here. He just sort of lost it because it was right next to his feet. Not the biggest serve in the world, but very competent.
Not one way to serve either. You can see how he pulls his left arm round to help the rotation with the upper body. Look at Serena Williams serve, one of the great serve, but she's got a very straight arm toss. Out of reach of his racket and out most definitely. And this is the problem for Pospisil, because now the only place he really has to go is just more raw power. The accumulation of unforced errors is going to get steadily higher.
Wish I could buy shares in that shot.
Love it.
Compound interest over the years is going to pay you back nicely, Fitzy. Look how simple it is. I mean, nothing can go wrong.
Love 14.
He's struggling. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No, he is struggling. We've both noticed he's struggling with the sun down there, and that's compounding his problems too. But I think the majority of problems here are that Goffin is right now just playing a level higher, and that doesn't help. So Vasek Pospisil just struggling a bit.
Being from the UK, I'm not such an expert on the sun, so I thought I'd let you get your words in there.
Modesty will get you everywhere. Yeah, and we've mentioned it a couple of times this week. As good as Goffin's forehand is, it's just not quite as good as his backhand wing, to me, it appears anyway. And he's a little bit more prone, just slightly, to give off the odd error from that forehand wing. Still 2 more break points.
for 6. That's different. 30-40.
Time on the ball is immense, isn't it, for Goffin? Wasn't a bad serve, but he had time to pick his spot, just didn't land it this time.
Yeah, so he took the foot off the accelerator in the last couple of points, Goffin, and it's allowed Pospisil to even this game up, give himself a fighting chance to actually stay in the first set, Pospisil.
Advantage Canada.
That's a good approach. Good depth, at least forcing Goffin away from the baseline there. Though when you watch where Pospisil tends to take up position at the net, I feel as though passing him cross-court all the time would be the way to go. He does seem to be just inside the service line. It's almost though he's being programmed to be there, and if you can get it to dip across, he's always going to be hitting a defensive volley.
I don't like Pospisil's chances from the back of the court. I mean, he'll win a share of the points back there, but not the majority, you would think.
Yeah, and again, we touched on it in his last match against Zverev. He's a very lateral mover, you know, he very much sort of east-west rather than any north-south on the Vs, and when he gets caught that deep, as you saw there, he ends up having to hit slice backhands because if the ball's short, he's not moving on the to cut it off, he waits for it to come to him. Makes it even more of a defensive shot back. Ooh, I hope the ball...
That was a rising delivery, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, good second serve. I thought he had Goffin in trouble there, but he adapted so quickly. Changed the angle of his racket face and made a very awkward return. Gets him into the body there nicely, but geez, good enough to hit an effective return. Another break point for the double break in this first set. Once Goffin gets the return back with some form of interest on it, he becomes quickly the favourite in those baseline exchanges.
Yeah, and there's no real sort of pattern to where he's locating the return, is it? I mean, he's going forehand, he's going backhand. I mean, Pospisil must just feel as though he's got so much of his baseline to cover straight away after the serve.
Wow.
So good. And a 5-2 lead for Goffin.
Belgium leads 5 games to 2.
Hard to know, actually, Fitzy, what type of second serve that Pospisil can hit today to actually defend it effectively. Let's have a look at, so he's down at 26%, he's won 5 of 19. I mean, that'll be the one thing that he's massively disappointed with, is his first serve percentage at 30%. But if he were to defend his second serve, I mean, you almost wonder whether an off-pace kicker on that ad side is actually going around even 80, 85 miles an hour. Is better than that one coming in at 100.
Well, I can remember when Novak Djokovic came onto the scene and his backhand was so hard to attack. He just defended so well, didn't he, out of that backhand wing. It was tough to break it down. This backhand looks a little bit the same, where I'm not sure about the technique. I know that's different a little bit, but it's hard to break that backhand down. The more speed you put on it, the quicker it's back at your feet. So I think you're right. He probably needs to slow down either that second serve a little bit to give himself time to get in a position for the next shot, or maybe go at the body a bit more to try to draw a short return. But if you just hit it straight into that backhand wing with pace on it, you're going to eat it. I mean, that was as nonchalant as you could be. I mean, that was a decent second serve. He just he swatted that like a fly down the, didn't he? For a winner on break point.
Much food for thought for Pospisil then, that particular change of ends. New season, new balls, same old Goffin from 2017. Superb. A couple of weeks in the Maldives with the French players Pierre-Hugues Herbert and Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. Of course, converse with Pospisil today in his chosen language, French. But I suppose the only concern for Goffin, as we see how sharp he is already at the Hopman Cup this year, is just how he will feel physically throughout the season, given the exploits at the end of 2017.
He's still a spring chicken. He's 27.
Love it.
But the recovery is what you start looking at, isn't it? If you play wire to wire in a season and you don't really have an effective off season, it can have an accumulative effect over a couple of years. So you need to keep control of that. Get the rest when you need it.
Love 40.
Must be a bit of a dilemma for Pospisil, I think, with his game plan sometimes. You know, trying to find the best way for him to compete with these better players, because at the back of the court, those errors, for no apparent reason, hurt him badly. No worries there. I mean, that serve was just too good, but the two previous points, he gave 3 points back to Goffin on the break points, and that's the difference between him being a top 100 player and a top 25 or 20 player. Been as high as 25 in the world. And again, so the flat trajectory hurting him. And he must be torn in his thought processes about whether does he serve and volley more? Does he get to the net a lot more? Or how can he improve this margin for error from the back of the court? That's his dilemma. Fine line between hitting the winner and making the unforced error. He gets it right this time. How's that backhand?
How was the serve, though? I don't think that's a serve that's used enough at times as well. Like, just a low slider. I mean, he literally... I know the sun's there, and that's part of the reason why I threw it. But that ball skids through. You can't attack it.
Second opportunity for a set point here for Goffin. Oh. Throw a little caution to the wind. Well, if he could do that with a higher percentage, then he's a ball player. Well, let me rephrase that. He's already a pretty darn good ball player, but to go to the top level, top level,
well,
advantage Belgium.
Sure, he's got that one in his repertoire, the one off his toes with angle. I mean, that was a great return from Pospisil. Perhaps just a little guilty of a late split step there. Didn't quite have the balance so he could get back out there a little quicker, but what a shot from Goffin. Just struggling a little bit, the Belgian, to put this opening set to bed.
And
he still had a chance to keep it alive there, Pospisil didn't. Goffin does duly wrap it up at 6-2.
6 games to 2.
And he's had his injury concerns, Pospisil. He was stretching out his sort of hip back in one of the changeovers recently, and now you could see they're just pressing into his quad. So let's hope he's fit enough to continue. Certainly be a disappointing end to the Hopman Cup for him if he weren't to be able to finish, as you can see here. Pretty even in terms of winners to unforced errors. Some good chances for Pospisil that came and went in that last game, but first serve percentage for both particularly low, but spectacularly low for Pospisil if he's going to stand any chance of turning this match around. He has to be surely up in the 60%, 70%, but hitting it. No good just getting it in. He's got to be able to land a few telling blows with that first serve.
You have to play to your strengths, don't you? But know your limitations and play to your strengths. And he wants to hit a lot of first serves into play because that helps him, and he wants to be able to use his forehand from a short reply as much as he can.
Time.
Today he's just missed too many forehands though, and that coupled with the fact that Goffin is a class act makes it pretty difficult.
Second set. Canada to serve.
Well, sometimes there's a fine margin between confidence and maybe a fraction too much. He nearly opened his shoulders there. Lowered his percentage chances by trying to unload on that forehand.
Judging by the reaction from Pospisil over to his corner, he's very well aware of a 30% success rate with his first serve.
Yeah, that body language said, well, why couldn't I have served like that in the first set more consistently?
Led for service.
There's not a lot of long rallies, is there, with Pospisil?
No, and well, I think part of that is a bit of trust in his own movement and ability to defend. So he's trying to, as you say, trying to keep the points as brief as possible. Serve for Canada, loss of just 1 point.
First game, second set.
Well, there you can see the backhand spins that Goffin's hit. It is topspin, but it is it's like topspin, if you like, from Goffin. It's not a Rafa-style backhand by any stretch of the imagination. Pospisil going heavily to the slice today, as you can see.
I think part of that reason that you see 57% there on Pospisil's on his numbers there where he's slicing is because he's been forced to defend a little bit too. That's part of the reason. He doesn't just choose to slice every time or all of those times. He's forced to because he's moving wide. Goffin's ground strokes have him under pressure.
Put a bit of meat on the bones on that number for Pospisil. 57% slice backhand. I think Dimitrov last year was, out of the World Tour final players, was the highest on hard last year at about 50% slice backhands, and some of that was due to the extraordinarily high number he used in Cincinnati on his way to winning the Masters title there. And it's not necessarily as good a number for Pospisil as well, because it is a slightly safe slice that he uses. He's not really dragging his opponent around the court with it. It is just almost to keep himself in the rally.
Ow!
30-15.
There's that slower ball out wide. It hits the surface and continues to move, and that was the reason. There was a mishit off the racket of Pospisil there.
40-50.
And again.
Game Belgium. 1 game.
It's about 20 kilometres an hour slower, the Goffin serve out wide, than Pospisil's has, just to illustrate your point. And it's definitely something he's capable of doing, I think, Pospisil.
Yeah, the slower one is more effective because it moves more.
Well, there's no justice.
No, he played a good point there, didn't he, Pospisil? Got himself back into the rally.
15-all.
Doesn't need the luck to go against him.
Good illustration of how early players prepare, though, wasn't it? Pospisil already with the racket back and the ball had yet to hit the tape. That was travelling at 13 kilometres an hour faster than Goffin's first serve out wide, and that was second, and a risky second from Pospisil that didn't pay off. Very nicely done. Capitalised on a terrific forehand. Quite early preparation, in fact, very early preparation. Almost gets his racket back a bit too early. It's almost stopped for too long. You almost want to keep it continuous, the swing, if you can.
He's digging in here, Pospisil, to his credit. Fighting hard to hold this.
Game Canada. Canada leads 2-1.
Pospisil, as Fitzy was saying, fighting hard here in the second set. This is potentially his last match for a while. Maybe he's going to take a little trip up to Broome here, the coastal area and tourist town, of course. So what is it? A couple of thousand kilometres north of Perth. Just, as you can see, a glorious spot to take yourself away from the hustle and bustle of life. That could potentially be in his immediate plans, but right now, firmly in his sights is staying competitive in this second set, and he's done a good job there. Trailed 15-30 in that last game, and the pressure, psychological pressure this man puts on you when you're serving is a big one. So to come through that is impressive. Over 20 seconds. Goffin swift between the points. He'll be all right with the new rules, where they're going to supposedly strictly enforce the 25 seconds at the Grand Slam. Of course, we had that sort of dysfunctionality between Grand Slam play and ATP WTA, with the 25 seconds at the ATP WTA and 20 seconds at Grand Slams, particularly for the men, obviously, with the best of 5. It didn't seem to make any sense, but that's kind of evened itself out. Let's see how that goes.
Levels dropped off just a fraction. Goffin in the last 10 minutes. Wasn't happy with a few of the forehand errors he made in the previous game, and that drop shot, the thought might have been okay, but the execution not quite so good. Oh, huge miss. 15. They're the moments you need to capitalise on. You're going to beat a guy like Goffin. I mean, love 15, easy forehand that he just dumps in the net there, Pospisil. He'll be ropeable with himself. All that hard work he did to hold serve the previous game. If you get an opportunity, you've got to be able to grab it.
And it's the cumulative effect of those misses for Pospisil, I think, that really hinder his charge back up to the top quarter of the world rankings, which he's been in before. Because when you miss one of those, the next time you step up to it, you're just a little indecisive.
That forehand miss in the second point, it sort of set the tone, didn't it, for the rest of this game, it looks like. So ended up a poor game from Pospisil, really. And with that negative thought process, he has to face another service game against this man. See, both players were down in the first set, particularly Pospisil. Considerably improved here in his first serve percentage, but possibly not high enough yet.
Low 15.
He's on a roll at the moment, Goffin. fact, so is Pospisil, but it's a negative roll. From the love 15 point in the previous game, he's struggled.
Goffin's coach there impressed with the quality of ball striking there from his charge. Good length. He just didn't allow Pospisil any sort of chance. That's quite a quick finish on his forehand, Pospisil, doesn't he? It's not just always about hard work and all that. Just don't know whether he keeps the ball on the strings as long as he could.
15-30.
Puts an end to the rot.
Oh, it's brilliant from Pospisil. Let's see what Goffin was trying to do, was just get that ball to a good length, keep the Canadian a long way behind the baseline, but he does possess some genuine power off the ground if he can keep it under control. Yeah, you can see 10 Ks more on his forehand than Goffin. So that's the big difference. Yet to strike a winner off the double-hander, Pospisil. Goffin with 6 winners and many more that have elicited an unforced error or an error from the racket of the Canadian.
And there was no facetiousness there. That was a genuine question from David Goffin, whether he was okay. He looked like he tweaked his paddle back a little bit, didn't he? Goffin saw that. The gentleman that he is asked if he was okay. Vasek suggesting, yes, no problem.
He'll do well to survive this point, I think, Pospisil. Oh, that's a great serve.
Well, he needed it. He had no alternative, really, did he, there?
Sure.
He rolled the dice. Yeah, he just made him work too hard there, did Goffin. Was in control of that point really from start to finish, and Pospisil doing the hard work. And hurting a little bit right now. Not sure if it's the twinge maybe he might have felt this game in the back, or whether that's just an aerobic lack of oxygen right now. Break point.
Did have a big problem for a long time with nerve pain from his back down his leg. Pospisil managed to finally sort it out, courtesy of a doctor in the Czech Republic. Czech being one of the 3 languages that he speaks.
So the frustration coming to the surface here now.
Advantage.
Good angle with the forehand to give him the opportunity, but misses a simple volley by his standards. This is a good shot. Gets Goffin out of the court. He's got to be able to make that, and he knows it.
Game Belgium.
The end is nigh for Pospisil, you feel. A set and a break to Goffin.
Belgium leads 3-2.
Perfect blend of patience and perseverance in that last point from Goffin, and playing the percentages as well. He never really took on an unnecessary risk. He was waiting for opportunities in the rally to present themselves. Nothing great appeared that he could hit the clean winner, but he just kept Pospisil very quiet at the back of the court. Terrific understanding of the dimensions of the court and what his opponent can and can't do to hurt him. Again, look at his movement. You can just see there, just in that little snapshot, the movement forward, back, and you watch Pospisil at times just a little too flat across the baseline. That, in fact, was a perfect illustration. All three of those, same place along the baseline.
Low 50.
Quick footwork from Goffin after the serve and preparation, and Pospisil again just guessing, or having to guess a little bit which way he was going to go. Was late to the forehand, expecting it back cross court.
Lost his rhythm a little bit. 2 in 1 game.
Belgium is challenging the call on the right service. Ball was called fault.
I think absolutely long here, and for the match he's only, until this game he'd only served 1 double for the match. So it happens to the best of us.
15-30. Belgium has 2 challenges remaining.
Up a set and a break, cruising really in this match, and you never know, maybe a tiny drop off in concentration.